I never imagined I could feel so hollow while standing in the same room as the man I once called my world. It was a Tuesday evening, the kind of mundane day that carries the weight of nothingness. And yet it had become the day my life was defined by silence. He sat at the edge of the bed, his back rigid, his hands resting on his knees, and I felt an invisible chasm stretching between us, one I had dug myself. "I can't not like this," he said finally, his voice low, careful, and broken in a way that made my chest ache. "I can't kiss you, Kent. I just use what's left to get through the day." I swallowed hard. A lump of shame lodged in my throat. I had said the words I had confessed, not out of guilt, not out of a desire to cleanse my conscience, but out of some twisted need to be honest. Or maybe to shock him into forgiveness I knew I didn't deserve. "I thought maybe if I told you we could start over," I whispered. He shook his head slowly, a movement heavy with disappointment and anger. "Start over. You slept with him, Anna, and then you told me you didn't hide it. You made it real. You took the knife, and you twisted it." I flinched, the words cutting deeper than any physical strike could. He was right, of course. I had made my betrayal a spectacle. Maybe because I needed him to feel the full weight of my guilt. But guilt wasn't enough. Apologies weren't enough. And yet I had hoped. Some part of me had hoped he would look at me and remember the years, the laughter, the late nights when he held me through panic attacks and whispered that everything would be fine. "Do you hate me?" I asked, my voice barely audible. "I don't know," he admitted. "I don't even know if I can feel love for you right now. Anna, I don't even know if I can feel anything beyond the emptiness you left me with." Emptiness. That word echoed in my mind. Larger than the walls of our bedroom, swallowing every memory of tenderness I had once taken for granted. And the worst part, I knew he was still here. He hadn't left. He hadn't screamed, hadn't stormed out, hadn't called the police, or thrown my belongings into the driveway. He stayed, but like a ghost, like someone trying to survive while tethered to a life poisoned by betrayal had happened 2 weeks ago. A single night, a single moment of weakness, fueled by loneliness, frustration, and desire. Mark. His name was Mark. I didn't even remember how it started. Flirtation at a work event, drinks that blurred judgment, a single kiss that spiraled into the one night that would ruin everything. The next morning, wrapped in the heat of guilt and shame, I knew I had to tell Peter. Not later, not in some carefully crafted confession. I told him that night, raw and trembling. And now he was here, a man who had once kissed me awake in the mornings, who had held me while I cried over lost dreams, and who now recoiled from my touch. He stood slowly, walking past me without a word, and I could feel the tension radiating off him. I followed, needing to explain, to justify, to say anything that might make the chasm smaller. "Peter, please." My voice cracked. "I know I ruined everything. I know I can't undo it, but I still love you. I've always loved you." He stopped, his hand gripping the doorknob, as though it were the only anchor keeping him from drifting away. He didn't turn to look at me. "Love isn't enough, Anna. You can love someone and still destroy them." The words hit harder than I expected. I had thought love, our love, was a shield, a barrier that could protect us from mistakes. But love alone couldn't undo betrayal. It couldn't erase the look in Mark's eyes that morning. Couldn't erase the choices I had made. I sank onto the edge of the bed, tears burning my eyes. I thought, if I told you we could fix it, we could move forward. Move forward. His laugh was bitter, sharp, almost like a weapon. "Do you know what that means, to move forward? It means trust. It means intimacy. It means waking up and believing the person next to you would never hurt you. And you destroyed all of that in one night." I pressed my face into my hands, wishing the earth would swallow me whole. The room felt too small, too confining, and yet I couldn't escape him. I couldn't escape the weight of his disappointment. For the next few days, it was worse than silence. It was a slow, agonizing rhythm of routine without connection. We ate dinner together, watched television together, sometimes even held hands. But the intimacy was mechanical, hollow. He let me sleep beside him, but when he touched me, it was functional, almost clinical. He used my presence to fill a void, but there was no warmth, No forgiveness, no love, just the residual motion of a marriage broken. One evening, I found the courage, or maybe the recklessness, to confront him again. He was in the kitchen making tea, and I lingered by the counter. "Do you hate him?" asked voice, trembling. Mark Peter didn't answer immediately. He sipped his tea slowly, as if tasting the bitterness of my actions along with a chamomile. "I don't hate him. I hate what he represents. I hate that he could be in your life even for a night, and it destroyed what we had. And me, I whispered you." His eyes, dark and tired, met mine. "I hate that I can't hate you completely. I hate that I still care, that I'm trapped between wanting to push you away and wanting to remember the woman I loved." That was the cruelest part, the emotional limbo. I was both hated and desired, both despised and needed. The complexity of his feelings mirrored my own guilt. And for the first time, I truly understood how delicate the balance of trust could be and how easily it could shatter. We didn't talk about Mark after that. He didn't want to hear my excuses, my justifications, my tears. And I couldn't bring myself to speak the truth again, fearing it would push him further away. So we existed in a suspended state, married but fractured, coexisting but not connected. Weeks passed, and Peter's silence became a language of its own. Every glance, every word, every gesture was weighted with unspoken emotion. I realized then that the pain of betrayal wasn't just the act itself. It was the aftermath, the subtle erosion of what used to be. And it was this quiet, relentless void that hurt more than anger, more than shouting, more than tears. One night I woke to find him sitting at the edge of the bed again, staring at the window. Moonlight poured across his face, highlighting the tension in his jaw, the shadows under his eyes. I didn't speak at first, just watched him, feeling the ache of longing and regret. Finally he spoke. "I've thought a lot about us, about everything. And I can't say I'm ready to forgive. Maybe I never will be. But I also can't leave. Not yet. Not while this bond remains, however broken it is." I nodded silently, not trusting my voice. Forgiveness felt impossible, a mountain too steep to climb. Yet here he was, still tethered to me, still trying in his own way to navigate the wreckage. He turned to face me then, eyes glimmering with unshed tears. "We'll see if we can survive this, if we can find some semblance of us again. But it won't be the same. Can never be the same. You have to understand that." "I do," I whispered. "I understand." And yet, deep down, I knew that understanding wasn't enough. Love alone wasn't enough. What we had lost in a single night might never be repaired. But the fact that he stayed, even in this hollow, tentative way, was the only hope I had left. We lay down together that night, bodies aligned but hearts miles apart. He held me loosely, not like before, but enough that I could feel his presence. And I realized that perhaps survival, not love, was our first step toward healing. Perhaps this fragile, painful connection was a beginning, even if it was only the faintest flicker of what once burned brightly between us. And as I drifted into a restless sleep, I vowed never to forget the weight of my betrayal, never to take his presence for granted, and never to assume that love alone could erase the wounds we carry. Because some mistakes don't just fade, they linger, reshaping the lives they touch, teaching us in the hardest way what it truly means to hurt and be hurt, to lose and to survive.